A very good evening, all. I welcome you all in the series on Bhagavad Gita, Gita for Professionals, leading an enjoyable and useful life. This has been an unique event organized at Pune ICAI. The objective of this theme was to facilitate professionals, partially chartered accountants, to understand and apply Bhagavad Gita in their practical life. And I'm sure in the last 2 days, we have seen that the experiences of our speakers have definitely helped us in understanding and analyzing the situations at our workplace and relating to it. Social objective was to bring more ethical values in our members, thus making our ICI an even more respected institute. And today we have with us one of the best speakers who will talk about Gita lessons from experiences as a council member of ICAI, as well as his experiences in general, which will definitely be useful to all our professionals. And he is none other than CA Chhaira, sir. I welcome you, sir. Before I hand over to Chhaira, sir, I would like to briefly introduce him. He is a versatile personality and an all-rounder. I was surprised when I looked at his profile, knowing that he has so many degrees to his credit. Probably we'll have to have some 25, 30, whatever 25, 30 people can do together. He has done it all by himself, whether it is academics, whether it is social or any other thing. Chhaira sir is a senior member with admirable credentials, charismatic personality, and immense knowledge. He has to his credit several degrees, including BCom, LLB, FCA, ACMA, MFM, MBA Finance, PGDFM, MFC, MPhil Marketing, MA Economics, Incom CIM, DBM, DBF, ESA, MBA in Investments, ABDA, PGD, PGDM, PGDIB, PGEM, DIM, PGD Marketing, PGD Advertisement, PGDWM, AMPGS from US, ADMA from London. There are so many degrees to his credit. I'm sorry, sir, if I've missed out any. He has studied advanced management at various reputed institutions in Italy, Germany, US, UK, and China as well. He has been associated with ICAI activities since 1995 and served as the chairman of Surat branch in 2005 and went on to become vice chairman WIRC in the year 2012. He has served in the Central Council for 3 consecutive terms and has chaired more than 30 national and international committees. He has held many significant positions, such as President of the Rotary Club in 2008, Member of Civil Defense Government of Gujarat. Owing to his exceptional contribution, he has been awarded by Governor of Gujarat as Legend of Surat, by Health Minister of Gujarat as Star of Surat, by Member of Parliament as Jewel in the Crown, by Mayor of Surat as Surat Nasitara, and as a youth icon by leading newspaper group Dainik Bhaskar. He has been awarded by the President of India for getting first in India in research, and also awarded by Chief Minister of Gujarat for science and research. His approach is towards holistic development of an individual, and his activities are evident of it. While he's too passionate about finance, reporting, and management accounting, he's equally passionate about piano, drums, photography, trekking, a state-level winner in painting, singing, elocution, and drama. He has acted international martial arts competition. He has represented India at various prestigious forums for higher education at Los Angeles, Milan, Phuket, London, Paris, etc. Really blessed to have such a dynamic personality here with us to share on the topic Gita for Professionals. My dear audience, I request you all to please welcome our speaker for today, Chhaira sir. Sir, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mosmi. A very good evening to all of you. CA Ruta Chitte, Regional Council Member from Pune, CA Mosmi Shah, Managing Committee Member, Pune ICAI. In absence here, I can never forget my 2 very good friends from whom I have learned a lot. CA S.B. Chhaira sir, CA Chitli sir, with whom I have worked in the council and learnt a lot. All other managing committee members of Pune branch and my dear friends. Once again, a very good evening. And first of all, let me thank the Pune branch for giving me this opportunity. I think after a very long period of time, I got an opportunity to speak once again, online. Because now in the last 2 years, most of the programs were physical. So after, I can say, आदत छूट गई है. iPad पे बैठ के, once again deliberating, because that was the COVID period time when daily we used to be on our cells and I like that. After a long time, it is a virtual program for me. The topic that has been given is something really very interesting. Bhagavad Gita, any point of time is interesting. Any number of times you listen to it, you have different angle. Like, in income tax, Ruta, what happens? Once you read income tax, second time you read it, you find something new. And you feel that I skipped it in the very first time. And now you feel that you understood it. Third time you read it, once again you find a new interpretation. And then you feel that second time when you read, there was something missing. And I think it keeps on going. Same is the case with Bhagavad Gita. I think rather it is much more with it, because much more interesting, much more, in terms of knowledge, much more in terms of life. That is Bhagavad Gita. To be very honest, I am not a very good speaker on this particular topic. Had it been finance, had it been management, had it been entrepreneurship, had it been IFRS, I would have loved to speak a lot on that. But what happened? Such type of program, a series was done by Ahmedabad branch a few years back. At that point of time, Chetan Dalal was handling that particular program. The chairman of Ahmedabad branch was a good friend of mine, Harit Dhariwal. And I think they wanted a series. So they had the same set of speakers, I believe, to a certain extent. You must have heard Chetan Dalal, sir. Of course, he's a very knowledgeable person, and Bhagirath Merchant, sir, another very knowledgeable person in terms of profession, in terms of Bhagavad Gita. And there were some Bhagavad Kathakars also. But one slot was missing. One slot. And that point of time, Ahmedabad branch had already declared it as Bhagavad Gita and wealth management. So now, seemingly these two are very contradictory. What are you talking about? On one side, you are talking about spirituality, and on the other side, you are talking about the material world. So Harit called me that, sir, पूरा series हो गया है, सब बहुत अच्छे speaker है, एक missing है. So I understood कि वो एक missing में मुझे fit होना है. He is a good friend of mine, a very, very good chairman. And I think during his tenure, I got 5 times opportunity to be a speaker in Ahmedabad. And all the topics are very interesting. He would call me, sir, national conference में बहुत अच्छे topics हो चुके हैं. एक topic है जिसमें speaker नहीं मिल रहा है. बोला कौन सा topic? Sir, students ने बोला है कि topic ये तो चाहिए. Who says elephants can't dance? I said, अच्छा, तो सर ये आपको लेना. I said, okay. So every time he came up with some very novel topics, and finally, वो fill in the blanks में मेरा नाम रख दिया था. This is how I became a speaker on Bhagavad Gita. Of course, I have read it, but I have read it only 1.5 times, and that is not enough to understand the nitty-gritties, to understand the substance of Bhagavad Gita. But I'm sure in this entire series, you must be having some very wonderful speakers. I'm going to talk about Bhagavad Gita as a layman, as a very ordinary human being, how it is useful to all of us. I think that is more important, right? How it touches the lives of each and every person. And what are some of the lessons which you can take up? I'm not going to tell you something very, very big things, but if some small messages we can pick up, and we can actually inculcate within us, we can use in our day-to-day lives, I think we'll make our lives better. That is the purpose. So anyway, let me start with it. Bhagavad Gita starts with that Arjuna Vishad Yoga. That is the first adhyay. 18 adhyayas in which it starts with Arjuna Vishad Yoga, where Arjun, I cannot say commands. Even if I say command, it's okay. But Arjun asks or requests, let it be so, Krishna to take the chariot to the center. And in the center, he was just looking at both the sides. Both the sides. This side also, I have my relatives. That side also, I have my relatives, both the sides. Oh, that is so difficult. And I'm going to wage a war against my own people. These are my own people. On the other side, I'm looking at Bhishma Pitama. I'm looking at Guru Drona. I'm looking at all those people with whom I have grown up, who have taught me so many things, for whom I have been a favorite child. How is it so that I'm going to wage war against these people? So that's why I studied Arjuna Vishad Yoga. But a very beautiful thing that we'll have to understand. मौसमी जी एक बहुत ही beautiful चीज समझनी है. It was a Vishad Yoga, right? He had grief, not fear. Right? Arjun was not frightened. He was not frightened that if I wage the war against that, what will happen to me? He did not have a fear of death. He was a very brave man. Right? So that's very important. Many people confuse Vishad with Dar. No. It is only Vishad. Because on the other side also and on this side also, my own relatives are there. So there is a concept of Vishad, not Dar. He was very brave. There are many people who interpret the moment Arjun came on the battlefield, he was frightened. No. He was never frightened. He knew very well that any war he can fight well. And one of his names has been Vijay. That means throughout his life, he never lost anything. He had always won. So winning was not a question for him. The only question was, what is going to be the price I'm going to pay for winning this war? So that's why there was grief. Arjun was full of grief. And then he looked at Krishna. So here comes a very important thing. What is good for me to do? What is the right thing for me to do? Good on one side, good on the other side. So many times in our lives, we are faced with situations where this is also good and that is also good, or this is right and that is also right. Then comes the question, which is better? Which is better? I think that's a very crucial thing. So Arjun was, of course, emotionally disturbed. And here comes one important thing. Even though you might be the most competent person on this earth, Arjun was considered to be one of the best in terms of his skills, right? So even though you are the most competent person, you might be the most intelligent person, still, if emotionally you are disturbed, then you cannot perform to the extent you should. In today's world, Ruta, as we see, today's world, so-called modern authors, they talk about IQ, EQ, SQ, right? Initially, they talked about intelligent quotient, then they talk about emotional quotient after some 2 decades. And after that, recently they started talking about spiritual quotient. Tell me, we knew this 5,000 years back or 10,000 years back? In Kurukshetra, we are talking about EQ, right? Today, our children are reading books of some foreign authors and they are coming and talking to us, EQ, SQ. But boss, this is what India had told thousands of years back. The only thing is that now they are putting up that also today, EQ and SQ they have been using for the last few decades. We have been doing it for centuries together. So one very crucial thing is, and this is one lesson for chartered accountants, I think for everyone, that while IQ is important, while it is very important that you are good with whatever field you are practicing in, maybe income tax, maybe GST, maybe whatever insolvency professionals, whatever is your field, you have to be excellent in that. Yes, agreed. But that is IQ. Along with that, if you are not emotionally fit, then your IQ is not going to work to the extent it should be. Your productivity will go down, your efficiency will go down. Probably you might work at your 20-30% efficiency level. So emotional quotient is very important, and extending it forward, the spiritual quotient. And that's why when Pune branch gives such a program, it is very important. Well, you might be having hundreds of programs on all the technical topics, including company law, including auditing and all these things. But that comes in the IQ domain, right? If you don't have something on EQ and SQ, then this is going to be the problem that is faced by Arjun. that you are the most competent person, but emotionally disturbed, and then you are caught into the problem in Kurukshetra. At the time when you are actually going to work, at that time, you are not going to give your full. And I don't think every point of time we can have a recourse. We don't have the chariot, we don't have somebody to drive us, right? Every point of Arjuna had the luxury of Krishna. Now, whether we have that luxury or not, that is up to us. So the point is, along with IQ, our chartered accountants should always work on EQ and SQ. How do you work on EQ and SQ? Well, first thing, start with body. Of course, Bhagavad Gita very beautifully says that you are not the body, you are not the mind. Right? In Bhagavad Gita, it has been said and rightly said, very rightly said, that you are not the body, you are not the mind. But let us understand, Indian philosophy has been beautiful. It has never ignored the body. It has never ignored the mind. It only states that body, mind comes at a lower level and you are at a higher level. But even though you want to go to a higher level, you have to pass through the lower level. And this is how we look at in the management theories, Abraham Maslow's theory, right? The need hierarchy theory, that in the initial levels, you require some physical needs like food, clothing, shelter, and then you go to the next level where you require comforts and then recognition and self-actualization. Even though we say this Abraham Maslow's theory, once again look at it. Is it not what Indians knew thousands of years back? That starting with body. So my urge to chartered accountants is that while you become too good with your subjects, but please take care of your body, remain fit. That is the first thing. It is the basic vehicle. Your body is the vehicle which will help you throughout your life to take care of all other things. If you are fit, unless you are fit, there are very limited chances of you being emotionally stable. Of course, you have seen certain cases where in spite of bodily problems, people have been at a very high emotional level. But people like you and me, who are ordinary, we have to understand that for us, remaining physically fit is the first step. Then comes that emotional quotient, emotional stability. Because if that is not there, then you cannot actually live the life as you should. Your productivity goes down in your profession itself. So anyway, I think this is the first thing which I like to start with. I'm not going to talk something very, technical from Bhagavad Gita, but some very basic things which you and I can take care of. Even if we start taking care of our emotional health, our physical health, I think we have done something really very good and we are prepared for the next stage. Now, Ruta, there comes a very interesting question. Now, once again, foreign authors, they keep on telling us like this: do what you love. Do what you love. Some people say, love what you do. Right? Do what you love. Or some people would say, love what you do. Right? Now, what is the correct one? What is the correct one? You'll find so many philosophers who would say, do whatever you love. Do whatever you love. Farhan Qureshi, you don't have to become an engineer. If you want to be a photographer, then just be a photographer. Do whatever you love. Well, to a certain extent, it might be okay. To a certain extent, it might be okay. So Western philosophers, they have started speaking about all these things. And to a certain extent, yes, do whatever you love is fine. And love whatever you do, that is also very good. But the most crucial thing that we Indians understood, do whatever is necessary. That is the second important relation. Do whatever is necessary. Now just take an example. There is a small kid, right? On one side, his mother is there and his mother is asking for eating sabji. On other side, auntie is there and auntie has brought ice cream. Now what would a child love? Ice cream or sabji? Right? Would he be attracted towards mother's sabji or auntie's ice cream? Naturally for him, auntie is going to be a heroine, right? Not mother. Probably for his father also. I'm not sure. But the point is that, so now just apply this. Do whatever you love. Then you will never eat sabji. Do whatever is love. Now tell me, when we started learning income tax, in the very initial period, did we actually like it? No. We had to work on it for a long long period of time, and then we develop the taste for it, right? Once you take a guitar, you don't start playing on the very same day. You don't like it in the initial days. It takes too much of time to learn. You love it only afterwards. So if one person just goes by, do whatever you love, then you'll never grow. So this is the westernized way. While in Kurukshetra, Krishna just told Arjun, do whatever is necessary. Whatever is necessary, that is what you are required to do. This is a very important thing. Though it looks like something very simple, but it's a very crucial thing. Do whatever is necessary. I think this is the second lesson we all must learn. We have to just look at it. Because in life, many times we don't know what to do. What to do. Whether this is the right approach or that is the right approach. We might love something more, and maybe something else is more, important. So whatever is necessary, of course, whatever is necessary to find it out, it requires quite good intellect as well as wisdom, right? It is not always very easy. So I do remember one small story. It was a beautiful story, and I think that also applies for all of us, particularly all my chartered accountant friends who might be listening to it. It's a story of a monk. A monk was waiting to cross the river. So the river was flowing, the monk is waiting in the morning. Now we had some disciples. So they are telling, sir, let us cross the river. He said, wait for the right time. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Many other people from the village also came up and said, let us cross. He said, wait for 1 or 2 more hours. And that kept on happening for 2 days. So many people, why are you not crossing? Then the monk said, I am just trying to wait that the water flow stops so that I get the way and then I can easily cross it. People said, are you mad? Are you crazy? This water is always going to flow. This water is always going to flow. You will never get such an opportunity to cross. Why are you waiting for? He said, that is the message I wanted to give you. You all people keep on waiting. A student keeps on waiting. Let me first complete my chartered accountancy, then I'll do this. Let me first complete my articleship, and then I'll do that. Let me first get a job, and then I'll talk about spirituality. But friends, if you keep on waiting, and you keep on waiting like that monk, right, who of course purposefully waited, you don't have to keep on waiting. Ruta, is it not so that at our age, we keep on thinking, during college age, it is dance parties which are very important. It is the picnics which are very important. Maybe at our age, we talk about, as of now, our office work is very important. Our other matters are very important. When we'll grow old, then we will read Bhagavad Gita. That is the right time. No. Then we are doing the same mistake that monk suggested. You are just waiting. You are just waiting for that river water to stop and then you cross. It will never happen. It has to coexist. So Bhagavad Gita is not a spare wheel. It is not a spare wheel that in old age when you don't have any other thing to do, now let me read it. No. It is rather a steering. It is rather a steering or the machine itself. Right? So the very important thing is rather it is the youngsters. It is the youngsters who should read Bhagavad Gita. Maybe they might not read it in a very serious mode in the initial things. I do remember while I was in first or second standard, my mother gave me Ramayana and Mahabharata. That was a very small book, and that book was like Ram is killing Ravan and this and that. As a small kid, it was like a film to me, but I liked it. At that particular age, I could only digest this much. So you have to start giving smaller doses. And it is young people who will be more benefited by reading Ramayana or Mahabharata or something like that. And converse is also true. If you keep on reading all these things, you will remain young always. That is also equally true. Now, when I was talking about rivers, river flowing and monk waiting, I remember the other thing. When Krishna was born, at that point of time, we have heard that he was taken away from the jail, prison, and the river gave the way. Now, what is that? What is that? So that is very crucial thing. When I talked about that monk, and when he said that you don't have to wait for the river to stop, there comes the third important lesson: no procrastination. You don't have to wait. If something has to be done, it has to be done now. That is the third lesson. Simple lesson. So when Krishna was born, he was born in a prison, right? Kal Kotri, as we say. So full of, I can say, darkness, and you are in a jail, prison, and then once he is born, the doors open, and then the river is also giving the way. Now the question is, what does it mean? Beautifully, in India, whether you talk about Ramayana or Mahabharata or any other beautiful scripture, it is at different levels. It is at different levels because the same thing is going to be read by people with different levels of wisdom, with different levels of consciousness. So there can be some subtle meaning, there can be some straight meaning. So if you look at the physical meaning of that, then Krishna is born, the doors open, you are crossing the river, that is the physical. Now look at the subtle meaning. Krishna is actually consciousness. Krishna is actually consciousness. There is too much of ignorance in our heads. Too much of ignorance. Even though we chartered accountants might be good in terms of technical knowledge about maybe income tax or GST or whatever, but we all are very ordinary people. We all are very ordinary people, and there is ignorance. We don't understand life fully. So there is ignorance. And in this ignorance, when Krishna is born, that is the consciousness is born in our mind, then the doors open, that ignorance goes away, and the river, that is the constant thoughts we have are there. You know, we are always gripped in our constant thoughts. An ordinary person is sitting at one place, but his mind is always running here and there, here and there, here and there. That is the river. That is the flow of the river. This is how we are. And when Krishna is born, that means when you have consciousness, when we are meditative, the thoughts gives the way. The thoughts give the way, and you can clearly see the path. And that is the indication how Krishna was born. This is how I interpret it. This is my own interpretation. I might be wrong, but this is how I like to interpret. Well, so in today's book, we say faith moves mountain. Today, most of the books are talking about faith, right? Belief and like that. So, is it not the same case? Krishna is born, prison is open, you are crossing the river. Is it not the matter of faith? So, when you have faith in something, the ways will come on their own. That is what India said thousands of years back. What today's modern author talk about it. If you are not very sure what is the right way for you, then just be at ease. The more calm your mind is, the better are the chances of you getting the way. This is what the modern author says, Western world. Now the same thing, 5,000, 10,000 years we said, that Krishna is born and the rivers are giving the ways. The same thing. The only thing is that we have told everything so beautifully in Sanskrit, in parable language. Now ordinary people don't understand that. Westerners are telling it today. We told it thousands of years back. So that is the fourth lesson which comes out of today's thing. Anyway, I don't want to sound something very serious. So on a lighter note, somewhere in UP, Uttar Pradesh, police caught one person late night. Hey, कहां से आए हो? हम वहीं से आए हैं जहां पे राम पैदा हुए थे. अच्छा, चल चल, पुलिस ले गई. कहां? वहीं जहां कृष्ण पैदा हुए थे. So that's of course on a lighter note. Now comes a question, a big question, whether actually Mahabharata happened or not. Right? There are always questions whether Ramayana happened or not, whether Mahabharata happened or not. Let us look at both the things. And as I say, all the Indian scriptures are at different levels because different people have different understanding. Let me give an example. Because chartered accountants are there, so let me give the example in their way. Now, what does an ordinary person understand by dividend? For an ordinary person, dividend means ghar pe ek check aaya, some money is there, this is dividend, I got it from company. But we chartered accountants, we do understand when you open the income tax act, A dividend. Well, a definition under section 2, subsection 22, clause ABCDE. ABCD normal and E is only for closely held companies. And we understand section 8, which is the charging section. And then we go to section 56, where under other sources is taxable. Section 57, some deductions. 58, TDS to be deducted. And if it is cooperative society dividend, then it is 80P2D. And we do understand 1150 and 1034 in all these sections. So please understand, for that person also, it is dividend. For us also, it is dividend. But is it not two different concepts altogether? Same is the case. Every person has a different level of understanding. And our Indian, our ancestors were very wise. They wanted to cater to the need of everyone. So they put up the things in such a way that the beginner, when he reads for the first time, he understands the basic concept. For him at that stage, that is enough. When he goes on rereading with actual interest, then he absorbs something more every time and he goes on a higher plateau. So that is the beauty. So whether Mahabharata happened or not, there are different levels. Now, there are evidences in India that it happened. There are evidences. If you go to Manali, you have Hidimba temple, right? That suggests that Mahabharata happened. If you go to Kurukshetra, then yes, there are evidences. But forget it. Let us assume, if people are arguing, some of the people who might not be Indians or who are in India but their minds are out in Greenwich Meridian, they might say that no, it never happened. Okay, let it be so. Let it be so, it never happened. But then think about the Indian geniuses. Think about the Indian geniuses. If it never happened, then what about the authors who created Mahabharata with more than 1 lakh characters? With more than 1 lakh characters, each and every character being unique, very unique. And each and every character is justified in a particular way. And for each and every character, there is a plus and there is a minus. There is no single character where everything has been like plus, like a Yash Chopra movie. No, it is not like that. For every character, there are pluses. For every character, there is minuses. And more than 1 lakh characters. Imagine if Mahabharata has not happened. Should we not say that our ancestors who have written this, they were genius? Can you make Shakespeare with this? Right? Our so-called English medium studied students, they will talk about William Shakespeare. In his story, you will have 5 characters. Right? In our Mahabharata, there are more than 1 lakh characters. Imagine where we stand. So if it happened, wonderful. And let us assume it not happened. Still, it is so wonderful. Imagine how great, how wise the people must be there who have written in such a way that from each and every character, you have something to learn. That these are the pluses, you learn these pluses, and these are the minuses. Kindly avoid these minuses. I think that is the beauty of Indian scripture. So, moving further, I look at it in a different way. Like, these are very simple interpretations on my side because the people listening to me are chartered accountants. So let me put it in this way. We chartered accountants, we talk about domain expertise, right? Mosmiji, you will be talking about domain expertise. Either you might be very good with income tax, or maybe you are good with statutory audit, or maybe internal audit, or maybe it's something domain expertise, right? So is Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita not about domain expertise? See, each and every person was expert in a different way. Arjun was expert with, bow and arrow. Bhim was expert with his gada. Everyone was expert in a different way. So, is it not something? So, does it not tell us? Does it not? Whenever you talk about gada, the name that comes to you is Hanuman. The name that comes to you is Bhim. Right? So, should not a chartered accountant sitting in Pune try to become like this? That if this particular topic comes up, my name should come up. Should he not work to that level, that domain expertise? I think this we should learn. So this is not directly written somewhere in Bhagavad Gita, but I thought I'm talking to chartered accountants. Why don't we interpret that way? Look at it. Each and every person has a domain expertise. So why don't we have that? Right? Why don't we have that? And specialization, that is another beautiful thing. Right? We chartered accountants now have to learn that. We have to be specialists. We cannot be generalized. Right? somebody into income tax, somebody into GST. So look at it. In Mahabharata, all the 5 Pandavas, they had different weapons. They were specialized. Arjun never said, okay, let me learn other things also. He might be knowing, of course. He might be knowing, but his specialization was on bow and arrow. So does it not talk about specialization? The specialization that you are talking today, was it not there 5,000 years back in India? India talked about everything. Those days also. Many years back also, India had talked about it. And today we are talking about team building, right? Today, if a chartered accountant actually has to grow, how does he grow? Number one, he has to see to it that he improves upon his domain expertise. 1, 2. He has to look into the specialization. 3, he has to make a team. He has to make a team that he has to make big partnerships. When one partner is looking into statutory audit, another into internal audit, maybe the third one into forensic audit, the fourth one into direct taxes, the fifth one maybe into litigation practice, and so on. Specialization, right? So are we not talking the same thing? Can we not see the same thing in Kurukshetra, in Mahabharata, in Bhagavad Gita? Team building, right? There also it's a case of team building. You know very well how during this Mahabharata, the team building exercise was done. And another very important thing for chartered accountant is networking. Networking. Look at the Kurukshetra war. Both the parties tried to network. They tried to head alliance with different rulers across the country. In Kurukshetra, you had yodhas, warriors from across the country. Across. Was it not a very interesting networking exercise? Krishna had suggested Pandavas to go for Ashwamedh Yajna. What was that Ashwamedh Yajna? Networking of all the states, right? So are we not getting the same thing? Domain expertise, specialization, team building, or networking, which are very essential things for our chartered accountants. Can we not say that during that ancient period also, during that Kurukshetra war also, the same principles were enshrined? So domain expertise. Now we'll talk about domain expertise. Once again, if we come back to Arjun, we talk about his interest and passion. Now, one very crucial thing. Do you think Arjun learned bow and arrow, that archery, to get marks or score marks from his guru, or was he very passionate about it? What is the answer? He was very passionate. He was very passionate, right? Today, the foreign authors state that. Today, the foreign authors state that. Follow your passion and you will not have to work. But look at it. 5,000 years back, 10,000 years back, was Arjun not very passionate about the archery? Was Bhim not very passionate about the Gada? Every person was very passionate about whatever he was doing. He was not doing to earn the livelihood. He was not doing to, make any other person happy. He was doing because he had a great passion. He was involved into that. I think each one of us, if we are involved in our own domains, then we can be excellent. I think that is the message I see from Kurukshetra. So this is the 6th message, maybe, if I can discuss about it. One very interesting thing, when you go to the Western world, now Western world is a very different way of looking at than what we Indians and the Eastern people. So in Western world, many of the wise people have said that if you really want to understand the East, then you have to read 2 books. If you really want to understand, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of things, but 2 things you have to read. The first one is Bhagavad Gita, and second is Tao Te Ching. Bhagavad Gita, of course, from India, and Tao Te Ching from China. That was made by Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu, a very wise man from China. And I'll just quote one simple example from that Lao Tzu, that is Tao Te Ching, and that is about being meditative. The same thing Krishna had told Arjun, Sthit Pragya. Sthit Pragya. That is, wherever you are, just be there. Today, you have a book by Eckhart Tolle known as The Power of Now. That is on staying today, right? Focusing on something, concentration. The same thing Krishna is telling Arjun, Sthit Pragya, being focused at that particular point of time. And the same thing Lao Tzu, one very beautiful example was given there, and that is a monk is dying. A monk is dying, And so the younger monks want to understand that this senior monk is a very wise man. If I sit with this monk during his last time, then I'll get some very, very important message. I'll learn something what he has learned during his lifetime. So he was sitting there and the monk was dying and he said, Guruji, sir, please tell me something which is very important for me to understand. And then monk was fond of cake. And one young monk brought a cake to that monk. He ate the cake and he said, the cake is too delicious. And he died. Now the younger monks were confused. What is the message? The last moment, our Guru is telling that the cake is delicious. What does it mean? They pondered upon it a lot, pondered upon for many years, they could never understand. And afterwards, they understood the message was very clear, crystal clear. Even at the time of death, whatever you are doing, enjoy that. You are eating a cake, be with the cake, be present in now. And is it not the same in Kurukshetra? You are in Kurukshetra, you are in battlefield, but be wherever you are. Do you think Krishna for even a single second was disturbed on the battlefield? The answer is definitely no. So one very crucial thing comes up is meditation. Right? This is one very important thing we all should be into. When it comes to meditation, for many people, meditation is something very serious. Something very serious. No, it is not like that. It's a very beautiful process. Meditation actually means cutting off from the external world and being with yourself. Tell me, in meditation, you are with yourself. If that is boring, then that would actually mean you are boring. In meditation, you are with yourself. So this is very crucial. We all chartered accountants, because our life is full of so much of knowledge and so many notifications and so many piling of returns and deadlines and whatnot. So a very crucial thing for us is being meditative. And when I say meditation, I repeat, I do not mean, and Indians never mean meditation means just sit with cross-leg position, close your eyes. Of course, that's a beautiful way, one of the ways of meditation, but that itself is not meditation. Meditation is something, it's a state of mind. I'll give an example. Once, along with a few of my friends, I visited Oli. Oli is a very beautiful mountain range in Himalayas. And Oli at 10,500 feet, it's a beautiful place. And you can see straight away the Kanchan, I think Nanda Devi range, which is somewhere 15,000 feet, snow-clad, beautiful range. Now what I saw there, some people from Mumbai came up and they just took some pics there and went into the room. And someone was telling, a very good serial is there, let us go and watch the serial. Then some other people from Punjab came up, they took the rod out and made some barbecue. They ate and went into the room. I think most of the people are there. And I was just wondering, you have come to Oli, you have to come to Himalayas, a very beautiful place, a very, very beautiful place, and you are not with the mountain. Just imagine the scene. You are alone and you are just walking on the mountain. That itself is meditation. You are sitting near a river, just being at ease. That is very much meditation. Now, there are different stages of meditation, of course, and in Kurukshetra, Krishna definitely talked about meditation, right? Different stages of meditation. Maybe in my initial stages for meditation, I have to go to the mountains, maybe. But if only that is meditation, then it's a big challenge, because it is the peace of mountain and not my peace. Meditation is there when even though you are in marketplace, still you are meditating. And there comes my 7th point, a very important point. That is, Krishna is talking about being meditative. Where? In Kurukshetra. Krishna is talking about being meditative, right? And that is where Kurukshetra. That's a very, very, very important message for all of us, that we are going to face many challenges in our life. There are going to be disturbances. There might be problems that we face. Maybe we are the Pandavas and the problems are like Kauravas and they outnumber us and we are in Kurukshetra. But it is meditation. It is meditation that Krishna suggested. So that is another very important thing. And should we not put it that way? Should we not put it that way? That beautifully, if you think about it, Krishna teaching Arjun on the battlefield, is it not like articleship, practical training? No books, nothing. Practical training, and where? On the battlefield. Think about it. Think about any other scripture across the globe, any other thing across the globe where teaching is there in Kurukshetra. Once again, the subtle meaning of this, the subtle meaning of that is that even though your mind is grasped with grief, with fear, with lust, with all other problems, that means you are in Kurukshetra. Just give your reins to Krishna. That is consciousness. Be Arjun. That means be focused. Look at the beauty. Look at the beauty what Kurukshetra is for us. Mosmiji, while we are entangled in our life, day-to-day life, so many problems. You are sitting in your office, some client comes at the last moment and you have to file a return. Your child is there at home and you have to make some arrangements for it. Right? Some relative, distant relative is coming today and you have to cater to that also. Now, so many problems. So the point is that we are into Kurukshetra at any point of time. We are into Kurukshetra at any point of time. If you give the reins to Krishna, that is consciousness. If you become Arjun, being focused, then in that case, you can very smoothly sail through all these things. And I think that is what is the actual meaning of Kurukshetra. So beautiful. Just think about it. Articleship given by Krishna to Arjun. Where? At the workplace. What is the workplace? That is Kurukshetra. Well, at this instance, I cannot refrain requesting my chartered accountant friends to tell that in articleship, please become Krishna. And I'm sure many of your articles will become Arjuns. Don't wait that they become Arjuns and then you become Krishna. You see to it that they are not your employees. They are not our employees. You are there to train the future of our country. So be like Krishna, right? Train them in a proper way, and I'm sure that they will also act like Arjuns. Well, as I say, my journey as a speaker on Bhagavad Gita, I'm not a regular speaker on it, as you can straight away make out. Right? I'm not a very learned person by any means on Bhagavad Gita, but it started from Ahmedabad branch, and another very good branch, Pune branch, has given me another opportunity to speak. The topic at that point of time was wealth creation. Seems contradictory, but maybe I might cover a little part of that in my session. Now, when we talk about wealth versus spirituality, now here, another very beautiful thing I'll tell you. Very beautiful. Ruta, you'll be very happy to know that there is only one culture across the globe which says that we have to live in both the spheres together simultaneously. That is in the material world, where wealth is very important, and in the spiritual world, where consciousness is very important. That's a very beautiful thing. Think about it. Think about any other culture across the globe where there is any Devi Lakshmi, a feminine deity, which says that wealth is auspicious. I make a statement like this. If wealth is created, wealth is earned with integrity, creating values in the lives of people, if it is spent wisely, rationally, and if it is invested smartly and utilized for your own benefit and benefit of the society, then wealth is beautiful. And that is what is Lakshmi Devi. Right? Tell me any other culture across the globe where a female deity represents wealth. Similarly, a female deity representing knowledge, Saraswati Devi. That can only happen in India. That can happen in India. And India never said, please understand, India never said that spirituality and materialism cannot go hand in hand. They can go hand in hand. You might only look into the material world. You might only look into the spiritual world, and you can have a very perfect balance. All the things are very well accepted in India. You can just look at it. Krishna, born to a ruler, Yes, Ram, born to a ruler, that is wealthy person. Mahavir, born to a wealthy person. Buddha, born to a wealthy person. Now just imagine, it was the Western world which put wrong things in our ear, which we say, "Paisa to haath ka mail hai, paisa to dukh ki jad hai." That was never Indian philosophy. That was, after 1,000 years of slavery, we got some of the wrong concepts from other world. That paisa to dukh hai, paisa to ye hai, paisa to ped pe ugta hai kya? No, 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 no. We Indians always say, you must have good ambition. You must earn well, of course, with integrity, creating values for others. And when you utilize this wealth, utilize for yourself and utilize in such a way that it is for benefit of others, then wealth is beautiful. And that is the lesson Bhagavad Gita also gives, right? One beautiful thing, that you can have both the things together, materialism and spirituality. So spirituality does not mean surrender your certificate of practice, no, and go to some mountain and only keep on chanting. No, 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 no. Even if you look at it, how you can support your clients in a very good way, and thereby you support the society and the nation, right? We chartered accountants have power. We can explain our clients that pay your taxes regularly. This will help your own community. This will help your own nation, and you're a part of that society, right? If everybody is going to grow, then you're also going to get the benefits of that. So we have that power. That spirituality and materialism goes hand in hand. That is one of the very important things. So India did not only talk about the monk who sold Ferrari. India is about the monk who purchased Ferrari also. It can be the monk who sold Ferrari, the monk who purchased Ferrari, the monk who never purchased Ferrari, the monk who never sold Ferrari, the monk who never drove Ferrari, the monk who always drove Ferrari. India accepts all such people. Please understand, monk in India does not mean just, orange or saffron clothes. Of course, that is also one of the ways. Please understand, in cricket, we have different variations. 2020 ODI test, same in terms of monks, we might have variations. But you and I, sitting in our office, doing whatever we are doing today, can be monks. Monks do not mean by any means giving away everything. Please understand. So for this, I'll discuss one very beautiful story, which I like a lot. I like it a lot. Once there was a monk, a naked monk, and he was so popular, that he's so wise, he was passing through one kingdom. And the king came to know that such a wise man is passing through our kingdom. So the king ordered his staff, courtiers, get that gentleman. And the minister said, "Sir, he's a very great monk. Why don't you come together? Would it not be good if you also come, right? And invite him." The king said, "Okay." So king in his chariot came to the place, somewhere on the external boundaries of his kingdom. And he requested the monk, "Maharaj, please accept my invitation and come to my kingdom." The king thought that the monk is such a great monk. He will say, "No, no, no. I don't want any kingdom and all these things. I have given up everything, so I'll not come." To his astonishment, monk said, "Okay, let us go." The king was shocked. What is it? What type of monk he is? He said, "Okay, Guruji, please come on my chariot." He thought the monk would say, "No, no, I don't use chariot. I only walk." But to his astonishment, monk said, "Okay." He got on the chariot. Then the king said, "Guruji, you come to my mahal. You come to my palace." He thought that he's going to tell you, "No, no, मैं तो अपनी कुटिया में खुश हूँ. I'm happy with my hut." But to his astonishment, the monk said, "Okay, let us go to the palace." King took it to the palace. Now, king is totally getting confused. What is happening? I had heard that he's a very great monk. Believe me, this is a beautiful story, and this applies to all of us. All of us. So the king is very perplexed. What is this? He takes him to the palace and he says, "Guruji, aap mere kasht mein rahiye. You go to my room." He said, "No, no, 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 no. I'm not that greedy. You give me a small room." But no, the monk said, "Okay, let me take your room." Then the king said, मैं आपको सबसे अच्छे आभूषण और वस्त्र देता हूं. I'll give you all the good clothes and ornaments. And he thought that to this the monk will surely say, no, 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 I am a sannyasi. I don't want. The monk said, okay, give me. So he took all these things. Now king is very, very disturbed. And the king said, you know, in the evening, we have organized a very beautiful dance program where all the dancers, all the beautiful lady dancers will come and dance. And he thought the monk is going to tell, for sure, no, 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 I am a monk. I cannot do all these things. To his surprise, the monk said, okay, I'm fine with that. Now the king is disturbed. And this keeps on happening for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and a few days. You know, whatever the king says, monk says, okay, I am okay. So now king feels that he is not a monk. He is not a monk. Since he is a rascal, let me make him out of my country. We have just heard about it. Too much. You know, he is accepting the jewelry. He is accepting my chariot. He is accepting my palace. He is accepting everything. So next day, he goes to monk and he says, Maharaj, I am really very sorry, but now it is enough time for you to go. So please put everything here back and go. The monk said, okay. So immediately removed all the clothes, rich, wonderful clothes. He put up all the ornaments and he, once again, as he was a naked man, he became naked and went up. After that, the king thought, oh, what a great man. What a great man. Within a second, he left everything. He did not have any problem on his forehead. You could not see anything on his forehead. He accepted. So king felt that, oh, I made a huge mistake. It's a blunder. I unnecessarily, doubted about this monkhood. He's such a great man. I should call him back. So he comes back. He comes back to the monk after a few days and says, Guruji, Shama kare. It was my mistake. I doubted you. You are a great person. Please come back. Please come back. And the monk said, I'll come back. I'll surely come back. Whatever you'll give me, I accept it. But then you will once again be disturbed. Think about it. And then monk told the important lesson. And please understand, this is the lesson for every one of us. Everyone. And the same thing Krishna said to Arjuna in a different way. In a different way. Krishna has been telling this throughout his life. Just observe his entire life. And this message is crystal clear, beautifully given. And the monk said that a monk does not mean that you leave everything. आपने वस्त्र त्याग कर दिया, अन्न त्याग कर दिया, घर त्याग कर दिया. That is not only monkhood. कुछ छोड़ना पड़े तो monk नहीं है. छूट जाए तो monk है. छोड़ना पड़े तो monk नहीं है. छूट जाए तो monk है. छोड़ना पड़े में तो physically you have given us something. Still it is there in your mind. Still it is there in your mind. छूट जाए. And he said, Indian spirituality was very clear. महल हो तो महल में भी वैसे ही रहिए और कुटिया हो तो कुटिया में भी वैसे रहो. सबसे अच्छे आभूषण हो तो भी आप वैसे रहे और ये आभूषण चले जाए तो भी. So whenever you offered me, I was fine with that. And when you said give me back, then also I am fine with that. That is the real monkhood. No attachment. You gave me everything. You gave me your palace, your own room. You gave me some of the most beautiful dancers. You gave me the most, the best food that ever anybody could have got. You gave me the golden chariot. And the moment you said, leave it, somebody else would have been disturbed. Kare yaar, mahal mil gaya, ye mil gaya, ab kaise chodu? Even for a fraction of a second, it did not come to my mind. That is the real monkhood. Now, this is something beautiful. So that means India has always said Indian spirituality, whether Mahabharata or Ramayana or Bhagavad Gita, any of the spiritual masterpieces of India never said that materiality and spirituality are in contradiction. It always said that just be at ease. Just be at ease. Accept whatever comes to your life. Materiality comes, accept. Don't be greedy. If it does not come, be at ease. Don't be disturbed. I think this is something beautiful that we all have to learn. I like it a lot. I like this instance a lot, that whatever comes, whatever, even if you are having materialistic pleasures, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. If you are attached to that, that's a problem. If you are attached to that, that is a problem. सरल भाषा में, in a simple way, I just remember when I was in college, I was sitting with one of my friends and he offered me a cup of tea. I said, I don't take tea. He said, why? I said, आदत पड़ जाएगी यार चाय की. तो he said, see, अगर आदत पड़ जाएगी ना चाय की, तो चाय नहीं पीनी चाहिए, चाय नहीं पीनी चाहिए. बट बिना आदत के किसी दिन बारिश में ऐसे एक चाय का कप हो और ले रहे हो तो बात अलग है. So you know, there are people who say that जब तक चाय नहीं पीता मेरी सुबह शुरू नहीं होती. They are the first people जिनको चाय छोड़ देनी चाहिए. So you know, the concept is that you in the material world you can enjoy everything provided you are not attached. The moment you are attached, that's a problem. And that is the message of Krishna in Kurukshetra. Detachment. Detachment. You don't look at it. कौन सामने खड़ा है? Whatever is your duty, please do that. What is important for the society as a whole, you have to do that. It is unfortunately you will have to kill your own Bhishma Pitama. You will have to kill your own Guru. But don't worry about it. No attachments. Be detached. Be detached. Because for better social good, this is essential. And that is Bhagavad Gita. So non-attachment. Today many of the Western authors are writing, but I think we talked about it for centuries together. Now, look at non-attachment. Krishna. If you look at the portrayal of Krishna, Ruta, if you look at Krishna, then most of the people will say Makhan Chor, and they will talk about, you know, Gopia and all. But very interestingly, it was a very small part of Krishna's life which has been, you know, blown out of proportion. एकाध केस में 3 साल के किसी कृष्ण ने कहीं से एक माखन की मटकी में हाथ लगा दिया आउट ऑफ, यू नो, इनोसेंस. और क्योंकि हम बहुत बड़े भक्त हैं, हमने उसके ऊपर भजन बना दिया. माखन चोर डज नॉट मीन कि कृष्ण 40 साल के वो रोज माखन ही चोर करते रहे. नो, नेवर. गोपियों के साथ रास, दैट डज नॉट मीन कृष्ण 50 साल के हो गए तब तक यही किया. जी नहीं, छोटे थे, छोटे बच्चे जैसे खेल रहे थे वैसे खेल रहे थे. दैट्स इट. At a very tender age, when he had to go to Sandipani Muni, he gave up his flute. जिस फ्लूट से हम कृष्ण को पहचानते हैं, he gave up his flute, and उसके बाद उन्होंने फ्लूट कभी नहीं बजाया. Whatever was necessary, he did that. संदीपनी मुनि के यहाँ पे अगर एजुकेशन जरूरी था तो उस टाइम पे वो लिया. फाउंडेशन इंटर फाइनल पढ़ना था तो वो किया. आर्टिकलशिप थी तो वो किया. आफ्टर दैट अपने लोगों के लिए युद्ध करने की जरूरत पड़ी, he did that. प्रैक्टिस करने की जरूरत पड़ी, he did that. अगर कुरुक्षेत्र में अगर पांडवों का साथ देना जरूरी था तो he did that. Whatever was essential, he did that. Right? It was not Makhan Chori at the age of 40 years. It was at 3 years. Many Westerners portray Krishna in a different way. To understand Krishna requires high level of wisdom. Not everybody can understand. Right? And somebody would say, now just look at it. Non-attachment of the part of Krishna. Flute, he gave it up. Mathura, Vrindavan, he gave up and came to Dwarka. Is it not non-attachment? And what does it show? When he came from Mathura, Vrindavan to Dwarka, then many people said, अब से तुमको कोई रणछोड़ कहेगा. Ranchod means a coward, जो रण मैदान छोड़ के भाग गया. Then Krishna gave a very important thing. Yuddha, that is war, is the last recourse. I would never fight unless it is the last recourse. And I am sure all my friends listening to, they know very well. Krishna went to Kauravas with a request, hey, you give only Pandavas 5 villages. And that also those villages which have barren land, which have no value. And my Pandavas will be okay. He went with a Shanti Prastav. Right? He tried out for the peace throughout. When there was nothing left out from the Kauravas side, then and then only he said, Yuddha last vikalpa. Right? Yuddha akhri vikalpa. I think that is one very important thing. Many a times with our relatives, with our partners, with our friends, you know, we start arguing like anything, as if that is the last recourse. I think that also we should learn. That let us first try to see to it how we discuss with them, rather than being argumentative. So, ranchod to ranchod. मुझे कोई कायर बोलेगा तो चलेगा. Now look at the beauty, as it is said. एक दोहा है उनके ऊपर. जो बड़े इनको लघु कहे, नहीं रहीन गट जाए. गिरधर गिरधर मुरलीधर कहे कछु दुख मानत नाही। जो गिरधर उठा सकता है, पहाड़ उठा सकता है, इतना बड़ा पहाड़, इतना पराक्रमी, उसको आप क्या बोल रहे हो? ये तो सिर्फ मुरली उठाने के लायक है। उनको बुरा नहीं लगता। तो आपको और मुझे कोई छोटी मोटी चीज बोल जाए और इसने मुझे ये कहा, अब मैं इससे बात नहीं करूंगा। क्यों ये अटक जाते? क्यों ये अटक जाते? रणछोड़ से हमें सीखना होगा। इनके हर एक नाम से कोई एक मैसेज है, इनके हर एक नाम से एक मैसेज है। रणछोड़ तो रणछोड़, कायर तो कायर, ठीक है। मैं बिना किसी कारण के आर्ग्यूमेंट में नहीं उतरूंगा, मैं बिना किसी कारण के युद्ध नहीं करूंगा, मैं बिना किसी कारण के लोगों का रिलेशन नहीं खराब करूंगा। रिलेशन ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है छोटी छोटी चीजों से। दैट इज इट। रणछोड़ कहे तो रणछोड़ से, दिस वाज द मैसेज, राइट? कहां गिरधर? एंड व्हेन वी से गिरधर, इट इज नॉट एसेंशियल कि आपने एक बहुत बड़ा पहाड़ फिजिकली उठाया। इट एक्चुअली मीन्स लोगों की इतनी सारी तकलीफें थी और एक आदमी ने इन तकलीफों को आसानी से पिकअप कर लिया। दैट इज द डिपिक्शन, दैट इज द डिपिक्शन। सो वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड विल से, हाउ कैन इट बी सो? ओनली विद अ स्मॉल फिंगर योर गॉड is speaking of the entire mountain. They don't understand it's a parable language. It means there are so many problems, people are flooded with problems, there is a rain of problem, and this gentleman very easily can train their people how to come out of the problems. That was Girdhar. So गिरधर उठाने वाला, इतना बड़ा पहाड़ उठाने वाले को आपने बोला ये तो सिर्फ मुरली उठा सकता है, उसको बुरा नहीं लगा। जो बड़े इनको लघु कहे नहीं रहीम गट जाई, गिरधर मुरलीधर कहे कछु दुख मानत नहीं। तो आपको और मुझे क्या बुरा लगना चाहिए छोटी छोटी चीज पे, राइट? दिस इज समथिंग, एंड देयर कम्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट लेसन, वंस अगेन लेसन नंबर 9, हाउ अदर्स जज यू इज नॉट योर बिजनेस। किसी ने रणछोड़ बोल दिया, राइट? किसी ने सिर्फ मुरलीधर बोल दिया, दैट इज नन ऑफ योर बिजनेस। You focus on what is necessary, what you should do. How others judge, everybody will judge you with their own perception. सबके अपने परसेप्शन, वो अपने परसेप्शन से आपको जज करेंगे, राइट? नाउ वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड always believed in documentation, while Indians, we had a culture to pass on everything orally from generation to generation. Now when you pass on orally generation to generation, it is always out of emotions, it is always out of feel, it is always out of spirituality, right? We pay more attention on truth rather than facts. There is a beautiful difference between the two, truth and facts, right? So our focus was more on truth, Western world focus more on facts. So that's why you will have more and more versions of Ramayana, more and more versions on Mahabharata, and that might be seemingly clashing also. Seemingly, I say seemingly clashing, right? That might be possible. Because orally, can you imagine for more than 5,000 years, something has been orally passed on from one generation to another? So it is about, how you interpret. We have number of interpretation issues and we have different versions, right? Because it is written in parable language. If you look at any Indian scripture, whatever scripture, then you will find it in parable language. That means it is not something very straight away written. Why? So let me give an example this way. You go to Manali as a tourist, and you go to Manali as a trekker. In both the cases, Manali is different. जहां पे टूरिस्ट लोगों का मनाली खत्म होता है, वहां से ट्रैकर लोगों का मनाली शुरू होता है, right? For tourists, it's a very routine Manali. They might at the max go to Rohtang Pass for a day and then थोड़ा बर्फ के साथ गुदगुदी करके चले आते हैं. But if you look at the trekkers, their Manali starts there from. They start trekking at a higher altitude, and for 8 to 9 hours of hard, work, that is walking, they go to Brigu Lake or they go to such beautiful places which tourists can never imagine. So the point is that nature says that हम आलसियों को रेडीमेड कुछ नहीं देते, हम उनको देते हैं जो मेहनत करते हैं. Same is the case with Indian scriptures. Those who only want a plain man in a reading, no. Without efforts, they will not understand anything. If you really want to understand the Indian scripture, if you really want to understand the depth of that, then you have to pay attention to it. You have to focus on that. You have to read it. You have to reread it. You have to discuss. You have to rediscuss. Then over a period of time, you will understand what is actually written in that. That's why we never have commandments. Please understand. Indian scriptures do not have commandments. There are many Western scriptures where there are commandments, what to do and what not to do. Indian scriptures, we are more focused on awareness. Because if somebody is fully aware, if somebody is conscious, then we don't have to give him commandments. See, law is always required more and more where there is less and less justice. If there is justice prevailing, then you require less law. I am sure chartered accountant friend can understand what is law and what is justice. Where the people are very wise, why would it require more and more law? More and more law is only required when people are not wise. So we Indians were more about wisdom and not about, documenting the things. We were not about believing. We were not about believing something. We were about experimenting. We were about experiencing. We were about exploring. Krishna talked about experience, experiment, and exploring. So we talked about seeking within. Think about it. Sitting in the Kurukshetra, that is a war zone, Krishna is telling Arjun to go inside, seek inside, because the answers are inside. That is the most crucial thing about Bhagavad Gita. Dear friends, we have so many issues, we have so many complications, but if we become meditative, sincerely, over a long period of time, we go inside, we sit within, then the answers are there. When we are born with issues, then we are born with the solutions also. Everything is within, but we will have to sit within. That is what Krishna told Arjun. So another beautiful thing is that about Indian scriptures, we have questions and answers. Right? Arjun can question Krishna. Arjun can question Krishna. Lakshman can question Ram. Parvati can question Shiva. So that is the beauty. We don't have commandments. We don't have books which blindly keeps on telling the commandment, because India always understood with passage of time, society changes, all the things change. Change is the only constant, and because of that, our spirituality should be ready for some changes. We cannot make it a closed thing, but it should be free flowing like river. And that's why in Indian scripture, we always had questions and answers. Arjun kept on asking questions to Krishna, and Krishna kept on answering. Now, that is the beauty of Indian spirituality. Now, if you read Bhagavad Gita, plain vanilla, you are bound to misinterpret. You are bound to misinterpret. A person who does not understand Krishna, according to him, he may find it very weird. He might feel, what a man he is talking about killing your own relatives. So, Westerner who does not understand Mahabharata overall, who does not understand Krishna, who does not understand the Indian culture, if he will look at Bhagavad Gita, he might feel there is a gentleman, he is talking about killing his own relatives. Where is the spirituality? No, no, no. That is not the actual case. That is not the actual case. Right? Look at another instance from Mahabharata to understand this better. Another instance. We know very well, Shantanu and Ganga were married. And Ganga had put a condition to Shantanu that in any case, you will not ask me any questions. And Shantanu had promised. So when they had their first child birth, Ganga went, took up the child and drowned in the river. Shantanu was very much disturbed at this sight, but he remembered that he had promised he will not ask any question. Second child born, the same thing done. Third child born, the same thing. 7 children drowned in the river. And now Shantanu was very disturbed. What is happening? My own child, my own children are being drowned. So when the 8th child was born and Ganga was going to, once again, वो जल समाधि की हम बात करते हैं. For that, Shantanu could not stay. He broke his promise. He broke his promise and he asked Ganga, why are you doing this? And then Ganga said that, do you remember in the Indralok, we both were there. And in the Indralok, we were too much focused on each other and we missed out some of the very important things. So the Devtas were not happy with us and we had a curse. We had a curse that you go and take birth as humans. And only after that you can come back as Devtas. And at that time, there were 8 rishis who who were supporting us, and they were also told that you will also have to take birth on earth, and then only after that you can come back to the heaven. So, and the curse was like that. You will not remember all these things. So what happened? I made these 7 rishis free. I did not kill them. So now, friends, once again, understand. For some external person, it was like killing the sun. But the one who is wise enough, who has understood Mahabharata in a right way, he'll understand. It was making free all those saints, all the Sapta Rishis, making them free. But the 8th one was not free, and he, later on, he became Bhishma Pitama. So please understand, interpreting Mahabharata, interpreting Ramayana, interpreting Bhagavad Gita requires too much of dedication. It requires reading, rereading, trying to, contemplate what is happening, trying to ponder upon it, right? There are so many angles. If you just look at it from one angle, then you are bound to misinterpret. So this is one very interesting thing. Another instance, which I remember from Kurukshetra, is about Barbaric. Barbaric was the grandson of Bhim. And Krishna knew very well that if Barbaric is alive, because of the one boon granted to him, he might kill both the sides. That's why Krishna requested Barbaric to cut off his head, and Barbaric immediately accepted and cut off his head. Once again, the one who does not understand the Indian scripture, he might always feel, what a nonsense thing. How can a god ask somebody to cut his head, chop off his head? But you will have to understand everything with a context. And please understand, these are only physical things shown to you. There is always a deeper meaning to it. Unless you understand the deeper meaning at the periphery, you are bound to misinterpret. So, Barbaric cut off the head. At that point of time, he requested Krishna that please allow me one thing. I am ready to die for you, but just allow me one thing. And that is, I want to see this entire war of Kurukshetra between Pandavas and Kauravas. Krishna said, okay, I'll put your head at such a strategic position that you can look at the entire war happening. After the war was over, Pandav brothers were discussing one day. Should I say boasting? Maybe yes. So Arjun would say, I was the main hero. It was I who killed Bhishma Pitama, I who killed Drona and Karna, otherwise you would not win. And the other person, Bhim, said, no, I am more important. I killed the most important enemy of us, Duryodhan. Then Yudhishthir would say, see, you might have killed anyone, you might have done anything, but I was the captain. And when in the team of cricket, the captain wins, he should get the cup. I am your elder brother, so I should take the entire credit. It is Yudhishthir, my name itself is Yudhishthir. Yuddha mein jo sthir ho sake. So I guided all of you. So I think I played a vital role. So everyone was boasting about his greatness. So finally he decided, why don't we go to Krishna? Why don't you go to Krishna and ask him who contributed the most? So they went to Krishna. And Krishna said, oh, I'm not sure who did the best, who scored the highest runs in the match. I'm not sure who is the man of the match. But I'll do one thing. Let us go to Barbaric. He has seen the entire event. Let us ask Barbaric what has happened. So all the 5 people went to Barbaric. Krishna took them to Barbaric, and Barbaric was asked, tell Barbaric, who was the most important person? Was it Arjun or Bhim or Yudhishthir or Nakul or Sahadev or whoever? And Barbaric told a beautiful statement. I think this is another very important lesson, maybe lesson number 10, which you and I should learn. And Barbaric said that, मैंने कुछ नहीं देखा. मुझे सिर्फ एक ही चीज दिखाई दे रही थी. I could see only one thing. सुदर्शन चक्र. मुझे पूरी युद्ध भूमि में सिर्फ एक ही चीज दिख रही थी. सुदर्शन चक्र, सुदर्शन चक्र, सुदर्शन चक्र. और कोई तो दिख ही नहीं रहा था. Right? So before interpreting that somebody is killing someone, one should understand what it is. And from this, if you look at the management lesson, it is you attitude, not I attitude. Today, foreign authors are talking about you attitude, but the same thing was conveyed by Krishna. Why should you have I attitude? मैं अर्जुन, मैं भीम, मैंने ये किया. No, 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 no. It is you attitude. It is the entire team which has worked. So that was another very important lesson. So this is one very crucial thing that we should understand. If you look at the modern day books, they talk about power of subconscious mind. Power of subconscious mind by Joseph Murphy. Maybe you have read it. Then you have another book by Esther and Jerry Hicks, which talks about ask and you'll be given. Or maybe Louis Hay, You Can Heal. Or maybe you've gone with Napoleon Hill's book that is about creating wealth, right? The power of creating your wealth, you think and get rich. Or you might have gone through the various books, maybe, Rhonda Byrne, that is The Secret. But if you read all these books, just observe, they are mentioning all the same thing, what Krishna told in a very subtle way, in much, much, much better way to Arjun on the battleground. And that is all about Bhagavad Gita. So if somebody, but I tell you once again, reading Joseph Murphy book is very easy because it is at a particular level. Going to Bhagavad Gita would naturally require more efforts, more wisdom. It is not very easy. Maybe reading a Western book like this, it is like clearing your CA foundation. And maybe understanding Bhagavad Gita is not even CA final, it is practicing. It is practicing a day-to-day practice. So now I'll touch up only one or two things now. I think the time might be over. I'm not sure the time limits, but I'll take one or two things. One of the very interesting thing about
So
Bhagavad Gita is Karmkar. Yes, madam.
So we still have half an hour.
Okay, but I'll be completing before that only because I think I'm
Sure.
within a short period of time, compact way, I'm covering many things. So in Bhagavad Gita, when we interpret like this, Karm Kar, Fal ki asha mat kar. Now here also we misinterpret. Krishna says that you focus more on what is within your control. You focus on your act. What to do is in your control. The result is not in your control. Studying for a CA student, studying all his subjects, preparing for exams, and writing the exam papers is within his control. The result is not within his control. Unfortunately, human mind is more connected with the result and does not focus more on what is within our control, right? So please understand, when they say Fal ki asha mat rakh, does not mean do not think about what you want. You can have a clear goal, you can have a vision, you can have an objective, but just don't keep on focusing on that. Whatever is in your control, focus on that. Let me put it differently. Suppose I had some arguments, hot argument with Mosmiji, and she told me something. So I was very furious. And I say that she is the reason that I'm furious, I'm angry. But that is not the case. What and how Mosmiji is going to talk is not within my control, right? But my mind should be under my control. Getting angry or not getting angry should be in my control. When I say I'm angry because of her, no. She did not trigger the anger within me. It is, I have not developed myself, so I became angry. That is what Krishna said. You focus on what you can do, what is in your control. Unfortunately, we always keep on focusing on what is not in our control. What is not in our control, we always keep on focusing and we forget to do what is under our control. So let me give a very lighter example for that. I'm sure many seniors must be sitting and listening to it. And how can we forget the 1983 World Cup while we were too young and TVs were not there in good condition, black and white TVs were there, but hardly anything could be watched. So in 1983, I am sure you must be remembering the match where India had 5 wickets for 70 and there was no hope of India moving further. It was considered baby team. And Kapil Dev, the then captain, he came out, he just played, he played his shots the way he could. And he was 175 not out. Now just think about it. If he had come with the concept, I require 200 runs, would he focus on his natural game? The answer is no. The answer is no. So here comes karma kar. Karma kar. Do not come with the same mindset. I want 200 runs, I want 175. Just come and play your natural game. Try to understand. It is a Kurukshetra, right? 5 wickets are down, and now you have to play. And he played fantastically well and made 175 not out. And this is one of the matches I'm sure every Indian will remember for decades. Unfortunately, this match was not recorded because of the technical reasons. Otherwise, it was a fantastic match. So, Karm kar. Karm kar. Similarly, in final matches, we are playing across the dark horses. The great team of that time, Vivian Richards, Desmond Haynes, right? And all the great West Indies side. Now, at that point of time, once again, what should you focus? You should focus on your game. Karm, not on your fal. And finally, maybe it was a miracle. We won. We won the World Cup. Till then, nobody ever took Indian team seriously. So please understand, that is what Krishna is telling. Karm kar. You focus on your game. You focus on your game. Even though there are 5 wickets, you come and play your game. Maybe you get out at 25 or 50, or you get 175. That is not everything in your control. What is in your control is your batting. Similarly, what is in your control in the final match is how you play. West Indies team is not in your control. Your team is in your control, right? So, well, from this, another very important thing that comes out, maybe let me interpret it this way. In Mahabharata, who was the captain of the opposite team? Who was the leader? The leader was Bhishma Pitama. Bhishma Pitama, he was a very aged person. Can you imagine his great grandsons? And even the next generation was fighting in the battle. So what must be his age? At this particular age, he was leading the battle. That means he was not tired. He was not tired. So this is one very important lesson that you and I should take up. That at this age, can we say we are tired? Many of us have a bad habit. We come from office and we say, oh, I'm tired today. I think, no. This also we should learn from this, Kurukshetra. Bhishma was never tired. Bhishma was never tired. How could you and I get tired? And friends, this is a very important lesson. We don't get tired. We don't get tired because of work. We get tired because of our thought process. Imagine this way. Imagine this way. Virat Kohli scored 200 runs today, right? Do you think when he goes back home, he will feel tired? I think no. He'll be more energetic that day. He'll be more enjoying that today I worked hard, I scored 200. Believe me, he'll be the most energetic person on that particular day. So it is not that work makes you tired. It is the boredom or too much of thoughts about the work which makes us tired. So I think this is one very crucial thing that we should learn from Vishnu, Pitama. This is one very crucial thing that we should learn. Right? Unnecessarily with increasing age, we start feeling tired. We start feeling, boredom or something like that. Should never touch up. This is one of the lessons. Now, let me talk about my interpretation on Mahabharata or the Kurukshetra war. So, as I say, in India, all the scriptures, Ramayana, Mahabharata, they have different layers. They have some very subtle meanings. They have some material or physical world events. So my interpretation is like this. When Krishna is riding 4 or 5 horses, I'm not sure whether it is 4 or it is 5, but because in some of the paintings you find 4 horses, in some of the paintings you find 5, maybe whatever it is. I don't want to go into the factual things, right? But if it is 4 horses, my belief is that what it means is dharma, arth, kam, and moksha. These 4 things, the reins of this, if you give it to Krishna, that is your conscious mind. If it is 5 horses, then your 5 senses. If all these 5 senses are governed by your consciousness, if Krishna is driving your chariot and you are Arjuna, you are focused, then everything is going to be fantastic in your life. Please understand, this Kurukshetra is our own mind. Kurukshetra is our own mind. On one side, you have 5 maybe Pandavas Maybe these are the 5 good thoughts which come to your mind. On the other side, there are 100 bad thoughts or negativities coming in your mind. Maybe they are Kauravas. And please understand, whether good thoughts or bad thoughts, you are the creator. You are the creator. My interpretation is that Kurukshetra is our mind. We have some good thoughts, we have some bad thoughts. And maybe bad thoughts outnumber the good thoughts. That's why Kauravas were hundreds and Pandavas were 5. But in spite of 100 bad thoughts, if you gave your reins to consciousness, that is Krishna, then in the Kurukshetra war, you are bound to win. Otherwise, just imagine. I'm wondering, and I do remember many years back, while I was a regional council member, I was listening once to a chartered accountant who shifted from Pune to Mumbai, a chartered accountant, CA Guru Nandan Sawnal. And we were sitting in one particular program and we are discussing about the 100 names of Kauravas. Ruta, imagine, would you name your child Duryodhan? Duryodhan, Du in India means bad. I'm not sure. With my limited understanding, Duryodhan means bad wealth. Maybe. Durshashan is bad administration. Tell me who will name his own son as bad money or bad administration. So my point is that probably they want to say that Kurukshetra is here and it is always there. Now you have bad thoughts, that is Kauravas. You have good thoughts, that is Pandavas. Both are your own creations. So both are related. Both are related. Now the question is, to whom do you give the reins? If you give the reins to Krishna, who is going to look into Dharma, Kam, Arth, Moksha, or he is going to look at all your 5 senses, that is the 5 Pandavas, then you are bound, in spite of all the negativities, it is positivity which is prevailing, going to prevail. And that is the true meaning of Kurukshetra. That is the true meaning of Bhagavad Gita. If somebody would ask me to, put it in a concise way, I'll put it this way. So I think we can keep on going on. And so many things. Bhagavad Gita is not something which can be finished off within 1 or 2 hours. It can run into days and days, and I'm sure Pune branch has kept it for a number of days. But I believe that most of the important things which I felt I should put as chartered accountant to my chartered accountant friends, I have put it forward. I thank Pune branch for providing this wonderful opportunity. I thank the managing committee. I thank particularly Ruta Chitle and Mosmi Shah for staying with me in this entire program, because, friends, it is very difficult. In physical programs, it is very easy to discuss and deliberate because the people are there. You can look at their faces. You can take the feedback, and accordingly, you can adjust your speed or your language and everything. But in such type of virtual programs, I feel I am talking to my iPad. I cannot see the audience. I don't know whether the audience is there or not. Whether there are 10 people or 200 people, I cannot make out. So Ruta and Mosmi both were there. I could see only them. And thanks to them for staying throughout for the program. And thanks a lot to the most important people, the audience, who joined this particular program and continued to the end. Thanks once again. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for a wonderful session. Sir, before we close, can we just ask our audience, in case anybody has any questions to ask, they can raise their hands, so we can unmute them. Any questions? So, I extremely admire, sir, the way you took this topic. It is very easy to talk on a technical topic, sir, in comparison to such topics. And you have taken it so wonderfully. And I do agree with you that with IQ, what is more equally important is the EQ and the SQ, which you emphasized at the beginning of the session itself. And then you took us through all these various rules, and especially the characters. More than 1 lakh characters are there, and the importance of all these really mind-blowing and wonderful. And so your thought on do what you love or love what you do, instead of that, what is more important is do whatever is necessary. Even
I think Maushmi, Shashikant Barve sir wants to speak something.
Yes. Can we please unmute, sir?
Sir,
Sir,
it
you have
was,
been unmuted, sir.
sir, it was a wonderful session. I just want to talk about something which really bothers me a little bit. See, ultimately the truth or dharma have to win. Now, you may come across situations where there is a unethical competition or corruptive practices going on. So one may have to fight those, maybe by referring to or by implementing much more unethical practices or much more corrective practices, but ultimately with the objective to ensure that dharma or truth wins. So in Kali Yuga, do you think it would be advisable or it would be treated as following Niti Dharma if still somebody wants to indulge into some unethical practices, but with the objective ultimately to fight such corruptive practices?
Thank you very much, sir, for asking the question. Shashikant Barve sir is a very, very senior member and my predecessor in the council, and I have heard a lot about him. Sir, thanks for your question. So the question is about, there are so many unethical things going on. I think that is the concept here in Kurukshetra, 5 Pandavas and 100 Kauravas. So at any point of time, in whatever yug we are, whether it is Satyug or Treta Yuga or Dwapar Yuga or Kali Yuga, whatever, in every yuga, there will be a dark side. There is a day and night. We have always a very beautiful thing. If there is no night, then there would be no day. Right? If there is no Ravan, there is no Ram. Right? If there is nothing wrong, then there is nothing right. So right and wrong are definitely going together. And we'll have to understand one thing. The creator of this world, now I might be wrong because I'm just putting up my thoughts. The creator of this world is aware of some certain things. Right? He knows very well. He himself has created Ravan and he himself has created Ram. Both are created. And maybe unethical things are more. Maybe, as I said, Kauravas are more. So unethical things are more. But at the same time, ultimately, sometimes we exaggerate unethical things a lot. Right? Now, if you just look at news, now in India, there might be 100 instances where some honest man has done something wonderful. And there will be one instance when some dishonest man will have done something wrong. But then all the news people will keep on focusing on that thing only. So my belief is that from the time memorial, when the earth came into existence or when the universe came into existence, good and bad, both the things always happen together. Gun dosh, jad mukt, vishwa kina karta, right? Gun bhi hai, dosh bhi hai. कर्ता ने जो विश्व क्रिएट किया वो किया ही ऐसा, और अगर उसने किया है तो बहुत सोच समझ के किया होगा. We cannot challenge our creator, right? We cannot challenge a creator. He himself created a lion and he himself created a deer and the lion had to eat the deer. Now maybe somebody might feel it is unethical, but somebody might look at it in a different way, and there is a cycle created by the divinity. So of course, as a professional, I am sure about it. Unethical things would not be acceptable. My first point would be, I have control on myself, not on others. Maybe my friend who is a chartered accountant, he wants to guide his client about tax evasion. Now, I cannot totally change it, right? It is up to me whether I would like to have such practice or not. My personal view is, I would not like to have it. I would like to have little less practice rather than having such type of unethical practice. Now, there are two things. Either he's a very good friend of mine, or maybe he's just an acquaintance. If he's a very good friend of mine, then I'll try to discuss with him and see to it that he also does not indulge. Because he's a good friend of mine, there are chances he tries to understand my intention. But if he's not related to me, and if I try to make him understand, is he actually going to understand? Probably the answer is no. Then everything is futile on my part. Now, the second thing is, if something is wrong, should I do a little more wrong to take care of that? मतलब कई बार ऐसा कहते हैं कि जो झूठ, मतलब वही कृष्ण के बारे में कहा जाता है कि जो झूठ किसी का भला करे, वो झूठ किसी सच से भी बेहतर है. For instance, Ashwatthama मर गया. That was what they passed on, right? They passed on in the battlefield so that Drona puts the weapon, right? While the fact was it was Ashwatthama Hathi, elephant who died, not the son of Drona. Similarly, for Jarasandha Vadh, Krishna created that, clouds and clouds as if the sun has set. So such type of things. Now the question is, koi galat kar raha hai to kya main galat karu? My answer to is, in most of the cases, I would not be justified. Just because something is doing wrong. On the roadside, koi pan ki pichkari maar raha hai, to main bhi maru, ye justified nahi hai. Road side pe koi wrong side pe chala raha hai, to main bhi wrong side pe chalau, ye justified nahi hai. But hum ye samjhe, I am a police and someone is a thief. If the thief is going in the wrong lane, no entry lane, as a police even I have to do that wrong to catch him. So ये question जो है ना वो situational है. Situation के ऊपर बहुत depend करता है. As a thumb, 99% my answer would be, if somebody is doing something wrong, I don't want to do that. I would not indulge into that, and I would never be justified in doing that. But in 1% case, looking at the circumstances, I might be allowed to do something wrong. For instance, I would not like to break traffic signals. That is wrong on my part. But suppose I saw a person who has met with an accident, और उसको बहुत ही जल्दी hospital ले जाना, so only for that limited purpose, maybe, now I am not an ambulance, but उसकी life बचाने के लिए I am breaking the signal. So इसका जो सही आंसर है ना सर, वो consciousness में है. आप तो इतने senior हैं, and you have served this institute for such a long period of time. My personal view is that the answer lies within, that looking at the circumstances, what we should do. Only in remote cases we might be justified in doing something wrong, because two wrongs generally do not make one right. Generally not. Only in exceptional cases, looking at the circumstances, it might be acceptable.
Jay sir, just to add to what Barve sir is saying, I think he wants to say whether Central Council or ICAI would be a police in this situation of the example that you gave. Should they be a vigilant? Should they put things, from wrong to right? What is the role? I think that is what is required.
So we'll have to understand one thing, whether it is Central Council of ICAI or Member of Parliaments for a nation, or MLS for a particular state, or corporates for a city, or maybe management for some university. We'll have to understand one thing. The subject will always have a very high expectation from the administration. We'll have to understand there are certain limitations within which everyone is going to play. Let us make a committee. Now just understand, suppose if the same people are in the committee, Arjun, Bhim and all, and suppose syllabus had to be made, they were a part of board of studies. What would Arjun say? He would give highest weightage to bow and arrow. If Bhim would have been the part in the committee, he would say, no. Bow and arrow to alag baat hai, gada sabse important hai. Right? So we'll have to understand, all the people who become MLAs or MPs or council members or whatever position, they are coming from different background. And we have to understand, everybody has a different way of thinking. Ruta, when you are staying in Pune and I am staying in Surat, we both have different dietary habits. So I cannot say you are wrong what you eat, and you cannot say I am wrong what I eat. So what happens, say at the central level, whether it is council or MPs, they are coming from diversified places. So they have the different thought process, right? Now, I have also faced the same problem. In council, I'll put up one proposal, and there are many other council members. They have differing views. So my proposal might not go ahead. That does not mean they are opposing me. That only means that their viewpoint is different. Their viewpoint is different. And that is the beauty of democracy. See, dictatorship might have some short-term benefits, but long-term, there might be some challenges. Now, in democracy, things will be a little slower. The reason is that democracy means whatever majority wills has to be done. Now, there are limitations to it. But as I said, everybody is coming from different backgrounds. Now, we have to understand one thing. If I elect a member of parliament, now here I have given him 5 years term. Now, who elected? We elected. At the time of election, we had the choice. At that time, let us exercise the choice. If there are 4 candidates, and even if you find that everybody is wrong, and it is among the bad, worst and worst. Bad is the best. Let us put it that way. At least I'll exercise that. If I remain silent, then I'm giving equal weightage to everyone. I do not actually mean all the candidates are bad or like that. Let us understand, at all the levels, our expectations are very high. And we always believe that somebody who is in power, he can change the entire world. It actually never happens. Even Ram never could change the entire world. Krishna never could change the world. If he could change, why he could come from Mathura to Dwarka? He also accepted his limitations, and I cannot change it. My subject would be safer at Dwarka. So we have to understand, every person has a different mindset, right? And there are deliberations. If people come with wrong intentions, then you should ensure that next time you don't elect them. But once they are elected, thereafter you keep on just discussing. See what is happening in India. हम हमेशा ऐसी बात करते हैं, politicians मतलब गलत लोग. On a lighter note, it is something like one politician drowned in a river. That is pollution. Pollution. All politicians drowned in a river is solution. Now that looks very interesting, but that is not the case. आप एक बात समझे, अगर मैं अपने politicians के बारे में always खराब, always negative बोलूंगा, मैं जब negative energy दूंगा तो सामने क्या होगा? Energy तो वो है ना, जो मैं दे रहा हूं वही होगी. And एक लिमिट के बाद अगर सब politicians को खराब बोले तो politician क्या सोचेगा? अच्छा काम करूंगा तो भी खराब ही बोलने वाला है, क्यों करूं? So we have to understand. मैं कोई काउंसिल मेंबर या मैं एमपी या एमएलए में किसी की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं. मैं कह रहा हूं आप एक स्कूल में, सर आप ये सोचिए कि आप 10 फ्रेंड्स कहीं घूमने जा रहे हैं, तो आप 10 लोगों में कंसेंसस कभी होता है क्या? नहीं. एक बोलता है हमें ये होटल में खाना चाहिए, दूसरा बोलता है उस होटल में खाना चाहिए, एक बोलता है हमें यहाँ घूमने जाना चाहिए, एक बोलता है हमें ये टाइम पे, एक बोलता है सुबह 5 बजे निकलेंगे, दूसरा बोलता है 7 बजे निकलेंगे. हम ह्यूमन बींग्स ऐसे हैं. When you go into public life, right? Suppose in parliament there are 750 people sitting, let us assume. Then you are 1 by 750. You have to understand whatever you propose, only 1 by 750 is going to be accepted. But 749 by 750, whatever you like, it might not happen. But you will have to accept. That is democracy. That is democracy. ये होना ही होता है. So there are challenges. कई बार intention वो नहीं होता आपका, but जो जिस तरह से systems चल रही है, जैसे ज्यादा तो लोग believe कर रहे हैं, right? आपको accept करना पड़ेगा. आपने उस मॉडल को accept किया, आपने उस मॉडल को accept किया. अब suppose मान लो कि आज बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट चल रही है और मैं उसको अपोज करूं, या कल कांग्रेस गवर्नमेंट चल रही है और मैं अपोज करूं, तो मैं एक्चुअली इस गवर्नमेंट को अपोज नहीं कर रहा हूं, मैं उन हर आदमी को अपोज कर रहा हूं जिन्होंने उनको वोट दिया, राइट? 100 करोड़ इंडियन में से मान लो 70 करोड़ लोगों ने एक गवर्नमेंट को चूज किया. अब बाकी के 30 करोड़ उस गवर्नमेंट को गाली दे रहे हैं, वो एक्चुअली 70 करोड़ को गाली दे रहे हैं. इसका मतलब तो यही हुआ कि जो मैं कह रहा हूं मैं ही सही हूं, अहम ब्रह्मास्मि, मैं ही इतना ज्ञान जानता हूं. एंड आई टेल यू, आई हैव सीन मेनी पीपल. आप पॉलिटिक्स में नहीं देखते क्या? जब अपोजिशन में होते हैं तब ऐसी बात करते हैं कि इन्होंने ये कर दिया. जब आप खुद उस गवर्नमेंट में होते तो आप भी तो वही कर रहे हो. आपने कौन सा चेंज कर लिया, राइट? क्योंकि कई बार क्या होता है, बाहर से हमें वो चीज अलग दिखती है. जब आप रियल लाइफ में जाते हैं, आई विल गिव एन एग्जांपल. जब मैं छोटा था और मुझे कोई कहता था कि ये फिल्म बनने में 3 साल लगे, तो मुझे लगता है पागल है, 3 घंटे की फिल्म के लिए 3 साल लगते हैं, 5-6 घंटे में तो बन जाती है, राइट? सी, एट द टाइम आई वाज ओनली दैट मच मैच्योर. आज मैंने एक्चुअली फिल्म में खुद काम किया है, राइट? तो मुझे समझ में आ रहा है कि क्यों लगते हैं. सो आई थिंक मैं बिल्कुल एग्री करता हूं कि एज सिटीजंस वी हैव टू बी विजिलेंट. हम अपने ओपिनियन रख सकते हैं, और हम अपने ओपिनियन किसी के ऊपर थोप नहीं सकते. हम अपने ओपिनियंस रख सकते हैं, हम कंस्ट्रक्टिव सजेशंस दें आगे, और कोशिश करें कि वो सजेशंस वहां एक्सेप्ट किए जाए. मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट एक्सेप्ट करे, एमएलए एक्सेप्ट करे, हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी हो या आईसीएआई हो या कोई भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, कोई क्लब हो. बट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, बहुत से लोग बैठे हैं जो संस्कृत में कहते हैं तुंडम तुंडम मति भिन्न. सबकी सोच अलग है. धोनी सिलेबस बनाएगा तो उसमें विकेट कीपिंग बहुत ज्यादा होगा, विराट कोहली होगा तो उसमें बैटिंग बहुत ज्यादा होगा, और कुंबले होगा तो बॉलिंग ज्यादा होगी. अब हम एक जन बोलेगा ये गलत सिलेबस है, एक जन बोलेगा ये गलत सिलेबस. सो दिस इज बाउंड टू हैपन इन पब्लिक लाइफ. whenever there are more than 2 people, these issues will always remain. आप कितना भी डिस्कस करो, ये अनादिकाल से चला आ रहा है और ये हमेशा रहेगा.
True, sir. Very true. I understand that constructive, suggestions would be definitely there. Thank you for a wonderful session. Over to you, Moshmi. Really, it was very, very nice.
We also have our past chairman, Narendra Agarwal, sir, who has raised his hand. Can we please unmute, sir?
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Going to ask any question to Jay Bhai, but with his permission, I would like to add one simple thing in that, whatever the question is asked, there are evils everywhere in the world, even within our relatives. So Krishna has said that you forgive 100 evils, and then he killed Shishupal. So what I understand is you have to forgive certain evil happenings. You have to forgive certain evil happenings, and when it is मतलब वो कहते हैं ना हिंदी में घड़ा भरने के बाद उसको फोड़ना चाहिए. So there are certain evil things happening in the world. We have to accept certain evil things to the extent we can accept it. And as it is stated in the same also that up to a certain age of a child, you can forgive his evil things. That is also there. So what Barve sir has asked, I think he has to overlook certain evil things and have to wait for end of the evil things so that we can destroy all evil things. That is what I meant to add, if you allow me, sir.
Surely, नरेंद्र जी आपने सही कहा. मैं एक ही चीज कहना चाहता हूँ. सी हम यहाँ पे ये डिस्कस करने नहीं बैठे कौन सही है क्या सही है वही. अपना पॉइंट ये है. सी मैं सिंपल आपकी भाषा को आगे बढ़ाता हूँ. इफ अ स्टूडेंट ऑफ ICAI एक क्वेश्चन गलत करता है तो उसको फेल नहीं किया जाता. 2 क्वेश्चन गलत करता है फेल नहीं किया जाता. 100 MCQ है. जब वो 50 MCQ गलत करता है तब हम उसको फेल करते हैं.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There are pluses and minuses everywhere. अतिरेक हो जाए तब एक क्वेश्चन खड़ा होता है. बिल्कुल सुदर्शन चक्र तब निकलता है जब अतिरेक हो जाए. So anyway, back to the MOC. Please take care of it.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. And thank you, our past Central Council member, Sir Shrikant Barve, sir, for being a part of it, as well as our past chairman, Narendra Agarwal, sir. I also thank our WRC member, Ruta Chitle, madam, to be present throughout and gracing this occasion. A special thanks to all the audience for being a part of it. And Jai Chhaira, sir, you have done a fabulous job, fantastic. One of the best events we've ever had. Thank you so much for your valuable time. We're looking forward for more such sessions from you in the coming days. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thanks, sir.